ladies and gentlemen, Jason is about to come on, and this guy is just unstoppable in the face of adversity and challenges and anything that might be coming your way that would stop you from being your greatest possible self. And if you really want to dig into your productivity, your effectiveness, your results while being in that flow, while having things come to you naturally, easily, you definitely want to stay tuned for this episode. Before we dive into that, I want to say thank you for being here, for choosing to be your greatest possible self. I see you. I know this is a journey. This is a journey, ladies and gentlemen, and there's ups and there's downs and there's all kinds of things. So I really just acknowledge you. I admire you for continuously showing up, for working on yourself, for growing yourself. You are phenomenal. Thank you for being here. I'm going to share our iTunes review of the week next, and that is by, I believe it is Melissa V. West, who says, good stuff. Chris's energy is infectious and off the charts. Melissa, thank you so much for that review, and if you want a chance to get shouted out on a future marathon, go to beyourgps.com/iTunes or search Greatest Possible Self on the Apple Podcast Store. Give us a review there. Let us know what you love, what you want to see more of, and how we can improve the show for you. Thank you so much in advance. I'm going to read Jason's intro and bring him on in just a sec. Before that, grab a piece of paper, grab a pen, be ready to take notes, because this is going to be a powerful, powerful interview. So stick around all the way through to the end, because one idea has the power to change everything for you. Jason Freeman inspires people around the country to realize their dreams by doing their imperfect best. Through simple but powerful micro steps, he teaches how to overcome perfectionism and actualize your purpose. He's based in San Diego, and Jason's message resonates with high school students and corporations alike. After all, he turned a speech impediment into a career as a public speaker. You can read more in Jason's book, Awkwardly Awesome, Embracing My Imperfect Best, and watch his Imperfect Tedx Talk. And we are going to be diving into all that greatness. Jason, are you ready to bring it, brother?
I am so ready to bring it.
I love it, man. We're live on Becoming Your Greatest Possible Self. Jason, thank you for being here, man. We're going to have a blast today and deliver some massive, massive value for our audience. Let's dive right in, man. The theme of today is when life hands you lemons, pivot. What does that mean for you, Jason?
So it has a deep meaning for me. You could say life handed me quote unquote lemons right off the bat. Yeah. When I was born, I lost some oxygen, which gave me the speech impediment and coordination differences. And for much of my life, I was kind of dragging around and being, if only I had been born normally, life would have been better. But then about 10 years ago, with the help of some friends, it started to occur to me that the lemon that I was busy thinking was sour was actually the pathway to a new life where I could speak to thousands of people and really let people know that they can turn their lemons into something else, that it's not just a fantasy, but it can actually happen.
Yeah, it's the ingredients. What are the ingredients? What are the lemons, right, that we are given, and how do we make the most out of those ingredients? And you had an ingredient that you were given from birth, so to speak, that was a difficult ingredient. You're like trying to make all these recipes, and you're like, why can't I make the recipes? Because everyone else is getting this result with this recipe and these ingredients. Like, why can't I do that? And along the journey, you're like, wait a second, I'm not meant to do this recipe that everyone else is doing. I have my own ingredients. I have my own destiny, my own creation to bring to life, to bring to fruition.
This is for the audience and directly from what you said. If life has handed you a difficult ingredient, that might be your secret to success, because
yeah.
I mean, we're not like if everyone's making the same lemonade, I mean, it's just a commodity. I'll pay you a penny for your lemonade. But if you have a difficult ingredient in your life and you figure out how to use it to your benefit and to impact other people, wow, that's unique. That's so valuable.
That's why we're here, man. That's why we're here to discover what that ingredient is, that special, the combination, the unique combination of ingredients, so that we can create our greatest recipe, to create our greatest destiny, man. And I know you're speaking to corporations, you're speaking to schools. Tell us a little bit more about what you're speaking on, and the types of like results that you want to get your clients, the message that you want to share. Just tell us a little bit more about that before we dive in, man.
So last October, I spoke 15 times in 1 week.
Wow.
For three organizers.
Wow.
And it was such a privilege, because the results I want from school kids, school students to corporations are largely the same. I want them to be able to walk away from my talk and say not only, oh, that was inspiring, maybe I can do it, but I want them to say, wow, that was inspiring. Here's the next small step I'm going to take. And then after I complete that one, I'm going to take the next and gain momentum.
Yeah, I love it. So it's really what will be different after that speech, not just a temporary gratification and inspiration, but like lifelong changes, lifelong shifting of how someone sees the world, so that they can take different actions, whether that's school kids and wanting to be their best and grow up to be, great members of society, productive leaders, things like that, or even in corporations, to be able to say, how can they bring their best foot forward and make those small changes that builds momentum, builds, bottom line revenues, that builds teamwork, collaboration, the ability to increase that output and overall happiness of everyone who's involved.
Yes, exactly. Because whether it's a school kid or a corporation, they both have dreams, and
yes,
and at one point I thought our dreams just kind of came to us if we envisioned them and then sat back and waited. But once we have a dream, that's good, because it gives us a direction we want to go. But then we still have to drive that each day.
Yes. Yeah, man. All right, Jason, this is great. I want to go back into your journey and talk about what was it like for you? What were some of those lessons that you learned early on? And you mentioned early on in your life, you didn't have enough oxygen, and that's what caused this. Can you tell us a little bit more about that time?
The first lesson I learned was from my mom and dad. First lesson I can remember is from my mom and dad. And even though I have been born differently with a unique lemon,
sure,
they told me I was the best, and they were determined that I be my best and have opportunities and stuff. So that was kind of my mindset. I mean, as a little kid, I was just speaking with my voice and confident, and I learned to ride a bike.
Wow.
Wow, let me tell you, Chris, that was so hard on my knees for so long. It was a bloody mess, but I learned to ride a bike. Yeah. But in fourth grade, I got my second big lesson, and that lesson was that comparing yourself to others in a negative way is not a productive
Nope.
thing to do.
Nope.
I began just feeling sorry for myself and wondering why um I caught basketballs with my nose and such. And and then comparing myself to others led me to the belief which I held as an absolute conviction that I was less than other people
Wow.
because I had this lemon, and that time culminated in I attempted suicide in 7th grade.
Wow.
Imagine how young that is. As I say that, I like to say, think about our young people now as we go through that unique time in history.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, they are listening to most of the same information we are.
Yeah.
But they don't have the capacity to process it as well as we do yet. So I urge all of you to be really gentle with the young people in your life and help them through this time.
Yeah.
That being said, so I attempted to take my own life because in my mind I wanted to be this perfect version and have a normal voice, be able to catch basketballs with my hands. And I wasn't that. And and in trying for all that perfection and trying to compensate with being good at academics and stuff, led me to that very lonely place in 7th grade. In the moment I decided that I wanted to live and call for help, thank goodness.
Wow.
I also understood that how dangerous fear can be if it goes unchecked, how dangerous perfectionism can be if it goes unchecked. And you could say the darkest moment of my life, that huge lemon of a moment in my life, has set me on this brilliant trajectory that I'm on now.
Yeah, it's such a blessing to have experienced it. It may have been terrible in the moment and just horrific, right? Those things that a lot of people go through is difficult times, hardship, heartbreak, losing loved ones, tragedy, whatever it is, even trauma. And it's in those moments, it's difficult in the moment. And then when we look back on it, that's when we have the opportunity, hopefully with the right mentorship, the right guidance, the right coaching around us, to be able to reframe that, to see it in a different light, so we can use it to now like rocket us into a new trajectory like it's done for you. And it may take time to heal, to be able to accept it, to be able to welcome that experience. But I'm sure you'd say that, like you said, it was one of the most difficult times, but you're probably so grateful for that because it helped you get so much clarity on pain and suffering that a lot of other people might be going through, and perfectionism, and how you can be a voice for them and give them solutions and give them hope.
Yeah, you mentioned a key there. You said it may take time.
Yeah.
And it's taken me. I mean, my life has been really pretty good from that point on, but it's taken me me 25 years to really reclaim like my like the best I can be. So, and I mean, I didn't want to hear that, and I wanted things to come really fast. I wanted instant gratification, instant healing, instant success. When I set out to be a speaker 10 years ago, I wanted to make hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in 6 months.
Yeah.
And then, the journey happened. But the journey is so much richer than the instant gratification probably would have been.
Yeah, I love it, Jason. And my girlfriend recently just had her first 5-figure month in her coaching business, and she's been like dreaming of it, working at it, and just like she's one of the hardest working people I know. And it's not like anything has necessarily changed in the moment. It's like, oh, life's completely different now. I'm a different person, and all these different ways of seeing myself and seeing the world. No, it's like all those little choices and decisions and shifts over time added up, and now she has this capacity, this energy to be able to do it, and she's doing it month after month after month now, whereas before, like a long time ago, she just wanted to make like $5,000 a month. She's like, I just want to pay my bills, like that's where I'm at right now. And like that was her conversation. I think it's so important that when we recognize it's about that journey, it's about like really being in love with what we have now, the people, the gifts that we have, the resources that we have, the opportunities that we have, and being truly grateful for it, man. It changes everything, Jason.
Congratulations to your girlfriend there. That's a huge milestone.
Yeah.
And then in a coaching business, that's so challenging.
Yep. I'm so proud. I'm so proud of her, man. And it's like that's we all have that potential within us. And then when we're attached to it and want it now and yesterday, that's when it seems to elude us. It seems to keep like running away. But when we just get great with what is, that's when all the opportunities come up. And like you said, with 10 years of speaking, and then last October, you got like 15 speaking opportunities in 1 week. That is probably because like you got just so great with, I'm just going to show up and I'm going to do my best. Like years ago, you're probably like, I want these massive stages. I want tens of thousands of people to speak in front of. And then you said, well, that's great. And what do I have right now? Like, am I able to go speak in front of like 300 or 500? Am I rocking that? Am I feeling appreciative of those opportunities? And I think it's when we love those and welcome those and are totally in alignment with those, then those bigger opportunities open up.
And I loved how you said being great with what is, but let's point out that it isn't just being great with sitting on the sidelines and waiting. It's being great with doing whatever micro step you can do today. Like my big goal is to speak to millions of people in my lifetime. In these last few weeks, there's been no live audiences. For very, very good reason, because we're trying to save each other's lives. But what could I do? Many days I still did a Facebook Live. Because it's a small step towards my dream. I'm not just sitting and waiting and going, oh, when this whole thing's over, I'll get on these big stages. What can you do today towards your dream? And like doing a podcast marathon, how much experience with that how much experience does that give you being an interviewer?
Man, so much. 750 guests that I've interviewed over the last 3 years. It's like enormous, man, enormous.
That's goosebumpy. You said 75?
750 interviews. So we've done 750.
100? No,
700,
oh,
750.
that's goosebumpy. Talk about dedication.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
What is your big dream with the journey you're on?
Yeah, man. I think I'm still figuring it out, Jason. To be totally transparent with you, my dream is to really bring video games and how I was so obsessed with video games growing up, and bring that intensity and that love of going into a world that just it took me away from reality. Like similar to you, I wanted to escape from who I was when I was in 7th grade and 8th grade and a teenager. I said, that's not who I want to be. I want to be Superman. I want to be Luke Skywalker. I want to be a superhero, right? Like that's who I want to be. And so I would play video games to escape. But I recognize there's a world that we can create where we don't have to escape, but we make it more fun. We make it more alive, more enjoyable. Let's bring the joy back to life. And so I'm bringing video games, gamification, and augmented reality with things like Google Glass, and there's lots of really cool technologies coming out, but bringing the game of life into everyday life so that people can play the game and be rewarded for good actions and just have more fun. And I think that's something I'm really excited to bring my engineering background and that love of video games and personal development all together into one really powerful platform and community.
That's goosebumpy. That's awesome.
I love it, man. I love it, and that's something. Like I said, it's always evolving. It's always developing. Who knows if that's going to be exactly how it all turns out? But that's the direction. Like I was talking about, like you said, you get to figure out that direction. You may not necessarily be there overnight when you make that decision. This is what I'm going to go for. But for you, Jason, when you said I want to be a speaker, I want to get this message out. Was there a specific thing that caused that said now is the time to embark on this speaking career? Was there a moment where that happened?
So, great question. And speaking of goosebumps, this gives me goosebumps. So I kind of was kicking around the idea of being a speaker, but I still wasn't confident about it. And sitting on the sidelines with it. Then this opportunity came to speak at this laughter yoga conference, actually.
Wow.
In a past life, I was a laughter yoga leader. and anyway, when I got in front of the audience, something inside me just gave me permission to be myself, and I put my notes under the seat, and I just spoke from the heart.
Yes.
Now here's where the story gets good. The audience responded and nurtured me and encouraged my dream and put bless me with rocket fuel
Yes.
to get through the hard times. So I love saying never underestimate your power as an audience member. Because the energy you give to the person on stage could transform their life as he or she is trying to transform your life.
And I'll plus one that, Jason. Think about it, if you're on stage, how would you want the audience to respond for you? Like be that person. For me, I'm always in the front row, man. I'm like raising my hand. I'm like on the edge of my seat. I'm taking notes because like I am so just I want this person to know that they are the only person that matters right now. And when they feel like that, when they feel that level of presence, like this moment is everything for the audience and for them, there's such a massive exchange of life force energy, of greatness going on with the value of the speaker, with the attention of the audience, that like there's just so many possibilities it opens up. So I think of how would I want my audience to be for me, and I'm that way in the audience as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a massive contribution, Chris. Thank you.
Yeah, dude, I love this. Jason, you're a rock star, man. So okay, so they helped you, they supported you through that first heartfelt like I'm gonna give it everything I got. And then from that moment, what happened? What possibilities open up? What decision did you make?
So from that moment, I'm like, I'm going to do this, and that's when I'm like, I'm going to make $1 million in 6 months. This is going to be so easy. But what I didn't realize that is that moment was like I had the vision of being in Boston.
Yeah.
At that moment. But what I didn't realize is that I was still in San Diego. And I would have to drive to Boston, and sometimes I'd be pushing that car, and sometimes I'd be walking. And but maybe it's important that we're naive at that moment, because if we knew
Wow.
all the things we would have to do, we may say, that's a nice fantasy. Yes.
I'm gonna stay on my couch. Thank you very much. Or
Yeah.
I'll find something else that's easier. That I'm sure there's another mentor, another mission, another purpose that will come along, and it'll be easier. Like that seems a little too much. If we knew what it took, to really get to our purpose. And I think that's a great transition into how does someone identify and learn what their purpose is, what's their unique gift, because I shared mine and what's important to me. You know yours is to really inspire people through speaking. How does someone listening do that, Jason?
This is one of the most exciting things we get to do as humans, and by exciting I mean challenging.
Yeah. Yep.
fun, but also very challenging. And I when we look towards a purpose, I think a good way is to ask ourselves not only what our strengths are
Yep.
and what we like to do and what people recognize us for doing, but also ask yourself what your limitations are, what your limits are. Ask yourself, if I could think of this thing and use this thing in my life in a new way, would it very much inspire me?
Wow.
And then brainstorm on it, and importantly talk to other people. Like so I was on the journey to being a speaker, still near the beginning, and one day I was in the car by my apartment talking to my dear friend Ina Lucas, and she's like, Jason, your speech impediment's one of the huge gifts you've been given. And I was like, what? I mean, it seems obvious now because this is my life, but back then I'm like, what, no, it's the thing I hate. But then I'm like, wow, maybe it is a gift. And so other people give us pieces of a purpose, and I would say to everyone, you don't figure out your purpose all at once.
Nope.
Maybe some people do, but I know I haven't. I'm learning more about my purpose each and every day. Actually, I'm learning more about my purpose right now as I talk to you, Chris.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, dude, I love that you said that, because I think for me, talking about what I stand for, what is most important for me, with guests, with of course interviewing, when I hear it, that's one thing. Like, I hear what I resonate with. I hear you talking about things. I'm like, heck yes, my soul is like, that is purpose. Yes, like I love it. I love being in that energy. And when I talk about it on interviews or just discussing it with people, having meaningful conversations where we're here to achieve an outcome of making a difference for someone. Because of that conversation, someone walks away a different human being, more equipped, more inspired, more empowered, with tools and strategies to achieve their greatest dreams. When I do that, I am embodying what's important to me. And when we do that often enough, and that's why I think it's valuable for everyone to build their own platform, whether that's on interviews, whether that's in their family, being a father or a mother, and saying, this is what's important. Like, I'm going to stand for this. I'm going to create a space for this on a weekly basis. We're going to talk about these values. We're going to see how our family's doing. We're going to come together. We're going to have fun, go on trips, whatever it is. I think that the more we invest in conversations about what's important to us, then we get more clarity and we feel more at home, and we accelerate our growth process towards our purpose.
And the people around us start seeing us differently. It just occurred to me from what you're saying. When I was so busy hating my voice, the people around me were like, "Oh, I don't want to mention his voice because he doesn't like it." But now that I've educated everyone around me that my voice is this
It's your strength.
Just this miraculous thing, people love it.
Wow.
So we learn from people about our purpose, and then we teach them about our purpose too. It's a conversation. Purpose is a conversation.
Ooh.
I just got that from this.
Ooh.
Amazing.
Wow.
Thank you. That's amazing.
Dude, this is gold, man. So this purpose, it's a conversation. It's a dialogue. I would say it's a conversation. It's a relationship, right? What is our relationship with our purpose? And purpose to some people might feel like this faraway thing they're never going to get to, overwhelming, or my purpose is being a mom. My purpose is my career, my job, what I do. Everyone has a unique relationship with their purpose. And so I believe there's a curiosity element, a wonder, a willingness to be in discovery of what is my purpose on a daily basis. What does it look like to live my purpose today? What does it look like to be my best self today? And I think that conversation that we have with ourselves as well as others, it creates a relationship that we can start to go to work on. And with those micro steps like you were talking about, we can really start to transform it.
Yeah. Purpose is a relationship. That's so good, Chris.
So those micro steps, Jason, I want to talk about that. Micro steps and momentum. Why is that such an important part of your philosophy and how you coach and share that with organizations and schools?
Well, let me tell you a quick story. About 12 years ago, I had achieved a lot. I had gone to college, got into degrees, got a master's degree after that, worked at the job for 10 years, and I was successful. But one morning I was pacing around my apartment. You ever have those mornings?
Oh yeah.
And I'm just like, I'm not happy. And luckily, I remember a few months before that my aunt and uncle had suggested I try yoga.
Hmm.
And at the time they suggested it, I'm like, I was nice to them. You know, when someone gives you an idea you had no intention of using.
Right.
Like, yeah, great idea, thank you. But in my mind, I'm like, are they nuts? I have a disability. I don't do yoga. The last time I was in the YMCA was in in grade school, and I got hit by a basketball. I don't do yoga. But on this day, I was so desperate. I was ready to walk it, ready to welcome in something new.
Mm.
And so I reconsidered the idea.
Wow.
And I went down to the local YMCA and I bought a membership, a $35 membership with the intention of doing yoga.
Yeah.
I didn't even take a class a day, but that ridiculously small step
Wow.
changed the course of my life completely.
Wow.
I mean, and that small step was before the talking to the audience and getting the great feedback. It was before all that.
Wow.
That tiny step led to me talking with you today.
Wow.
The thing about micro steps is we don't know where they will lead until after we take them. It's not like I walked into the YMCA and was like, if I do this, I'm going to become a professional speaker and do a TEDx talk and write a book and stuff. I just wanted to be out of pain. It was the next thing
Yep.
I knew to do.
Yep.
And I had taken many micro steps before that didn't lead where I wanted to go. But that particular one was the micro step jackpot for me because
Micro step jackpot. I love it. I love it, man. So when you're in a speaking gig, speaking opportunity, how do you have people demonstrate for themselves that they can take micro steps? You know, I always wonder in a speaking gig, how do I have them take action now in this room so that even by the time they leave, just because they showed up, they're literally better off because I facilitated something. I facilitated a change. I had them take a step here with my guidance, with me holding their hand, so that they're more confident to do it outside of the room.
that Chris is a wonderful question that I haven't completely figured out the answer to yet, but I mean it could be as simple as having them weigh out the direction they want to go in and
Yeah.
then brainstorm 3 to 5 likely micro steps and then pick one before they leave and commit to doing it in a certain amount of time. And it could be very simple. I just haven't done that yet.
That's good. I think that's super important to recognize. How do we do the most with like what we're given? And like I think about Tony Robbins, right? And he's this change your state guy, right? It's like get up out of your seat, jump up and down, and you change your state, right? And I think that there's an aspect of when we change our state and we facilitate a state change and remind people through physiology especially, but even if it's communicating with someone, sending a text saying, hey, can you hold me accountable, can you help me hold myself accountable, can you help me achieve this goal, sharing with your supervisor, hey, I want to achieve this target, I want to read a book a month, a new book a month, if I wasn't reading any at all, to get clarity on my purpose, to get better with this skill set. I think it's understanding what are the support structures, like what are we going to put in to reality, into existence, into our calendar, into our relationship, so that someone knows about it. I know about it. I'm clear on what's expected, when it's expected by, and making sure that I have everything I need to succeed with it. And I think that's what a lot of people are missing. They're just missing that support to go execute and do those micro steps. Like you said, like have an amazing conversation in the talk, the speaking gig, and after that they walk away with more clarity, with more power, with clear next steps, so they can take action and move the ball.
What you say is so spot on, and you're giving me ideas about how I can expand this concept to help the audience more in the moment.
Yeah, man. Yeah, well, I know, like, just in this conversation, I see one of your strengths is using your story as like evidence, as a teachable moment, right? Like these milestones, these moments in your story, like when you go sign up for yoga, it's such a micro step, it's such a small thing. You didn't even go to do yoga that day, but it changed the rest of your life. And I think that gives people perspective and makes it not seem so attainable, and gives them more options. It starts their mind to start working and saying, what could I do? What could I do that's going to be a micro step that's going to move the needle in my life? And so I think that's a really powerful strength that you have, Jason.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome, man. You're doing great stuff. So we talked about the purpose, and I wanted to get into this being calm, being centered, being in flow, not being stressed out, and being able to produce actions, produce results from that place. Tell us about like what inspired you to focus on that and helping people with that, Jason.
I took a deep breath right as you said that. What inspires me to, and you did too.
Yes, I did.
what inspires me to help people with this is I used to be before yoga 12 years ago. I was massively stressed out, and people would say, you should relax. You should loosen up. Don't take life so seriously. But I just did not know how to do that. Like, I would try to relax by clenching my fist. It's like my energy was kept snowballing towards being more and more stressed out. And so what I found about relaxation is one, there's a lot of different methods to achieve relaxation: meditation, yoga, visualization, tons of breath techniques. But I encourage people to find what works for them.
Yep.
And to really put everything into trying to do it consistently.
Yep.
It is not like I've been able to do yoga once and then live this great life. I've done yoga thousands of times, and I definitely wasn't able to meditate once and be all aligned. I meditated this morning, and that consistency, and it's so important in terms of, because uncontrolled anxiety really clouds our ability to see our purpose, clouds our ability to see the brilliance that we are. Like in 7th grade, when I attempted to take my own life, I just I couldn't see any of this. I was just so focused on the stress and the fear and the pain and relaxing helps a person get beyond that tunnel vision focus.
Yeah. And I hear, like, I picture the cup, right? A cup is, we want our cup to be overflowing with good energy and abundance and being able to serve people and love people. But if our cup is not filled, so to speak, or filled with not the best emotions, anxiety, stress, fear, overwhelm, then that's what we're going to be producing if we try to give from that. If we try to do more, if we try to add more to our plate, we're just going to keep overflowing with anxiety and more of that energy, more unhealthy, unserving energy. So it's like really to clear that out, like, is so important, Jason. And sounds like it, especially when you were in 7th grade, like, you didn't know how to clear those emotions. You didn't know how to relax. You didn't know how
I had
to
no
be with
idea.
them. Yeah.
No idea.
Yeah. Wow. That's that emotional intelligence and being able to manage our own state. Going back to the state, going back to just being with ourselves and feeling our emotions and not trying to repress it, not trying to stuff it down, but having especially a safe space where we can speak about it. And family, friends, therapist, whatever it might be, coach, whatever people need to be able to speak about that. It's so important to have that confidant, someone who we can just be ourselves and not be afraid of sharing what's going on in our life. Is so important, man.
Yeah, the community of trusted people that you're talking about, that that's another thing that I didn't allow myself in 7th grade. I was trying to hide my voice because I was ashamed of it, and so I wasn't telling people what was going on. And then I'm like, no one understands me, but they didn't understand me because I wasn't saying anything.
Yeah. I think like literally saying I'm sad. I don't think those words came out of my mouth when I was a teenager. Like it just it wasn't appropriate to say I am sad. For me, in my own mind, I had made up a rule. I had made up a story that said I have to be okay. Like I have to keep it together. I have to keep moving forward. I have to show up as the good son for my parents. And I'm not allowed to be sad and stuck and struggling and afraid. Like I'm afraid. Those words never came out of my mouth. I pretended like I'm Superman because deep down inside I was unable to share all that pent up like energy about I'm afraid or I'm sad or I'm freaking anxious, I'm stressed out, and I don't know how to communicate it.
And that having that pent up energy is so uncomfortable.
Yeah. And it wreaks havoc on every area of life. Like it takes
that too.
away.
It's uncomfortable and it wreaks havoc.
Yeah, it takes away from our experience of life, man. And I think we're all here to have a great time, to work towards our purpose, to be productive, to feel like we're making progress. And oftentimes people are sabotaging themselves because of all the anxiety, all the fear, all the sadness, all the trauma, undealt with emotions that we've been carrying for so long. And it's like when we're really willing to take a courageous look at what is going on inside us, then we free ourselves so that we can move forward.
This marathon's a really good example of that, because you could have said, hey, times are too stressful. There's so much going on in the news. I'm so anxious. Let's cancel this marathon until things return back to normal. But instead you you're doing it, And I was nervous this morning about being on the podcast, and I practiced and stuff. Instead of making some lame excuse and being like, Chris, my I have a pimple and I can't come on. I mean, I felt the nervousness, and then I felt like I felt the nervousness, but then I also felt all the positive emotions
Excitement, yes.
that made me want to be here, and it's so good. It's so fun to show up to something like this because it's just amazing.
Yeah. It's so interesting that when you show up and you're living your purpose and doing what lights you up, and maybe not everyone it lights them up to talk about their purpose or talk about, I think there's something that everyone loves to talk about, right? So whatever they're passionate about, each individual has their own passions, and it might be uncomfortable at first when you jump on an interview, and let's say it's someone's first time, right, on an interview. That can be pretty intimidating and scary, and kind of take away from the fun and the enjoyment of having a great conversation and making a difference for people, because it's so new. It's so like, what do I do? Someone's first time on an interview, the mind is on, what do people think about me? How's my camera? How's my lighting? Am I doing something wrong? Am I talking about all my points? And they're not present. They're not just being in the moment. And the best interviews, in my opinion, are when people are in the moment. But like once we get over that, then it's just talking about what lights us up. And I think having more of those conversations about what lights us up will like really transform the world, man. And especially in times of opportunity, difficulty, challenge. I think a great way to see today in these times with everything that's going on in the world, businesses shut down, epidemics, all that stuff. It's not like there's necessarily a different thing as far as now there's fear where there was no fear before. No, it's just things are more amplified. The feelings of fear, the feelings of uncertainty, the feelings of stress and anxiety and juggling even more now, it's more intensified because it's different than it was before. But it's not like it's a different ingredient. It's just a different quantity. It's just more amplified so that it registers different in our mind and how we relate to it.
Maybe
Go for it.
Maybe let's consider it in terms of space.
Yeah.
Like before it was like a 3 at the Thai restaurant, and now it's up to like a 7 or 8.
Yes.
So it's a bit spacier now.
Yeah.
Spacier now.
I love it, man. And just to dial in the end, man, is there anything that we haven't touched on? I mean, I know there's so much that we could go into. We just have an hour here today, but any final, like, really powerful words that you want to share with our audience around achieving our goals, productivity, purpose, anything? I know that, again, there's so much, but anything that's really on your heart, Jason?
What's on my heart? Just like we've been talking about, to have the big game, have the big purpose, but then each day, each moment as a gift to learn more about the journey, to develop the skills, to practice, to enjoy. Your purpose isn't just going to happen someday when you achieve it. Your purpose and present, your purpose and your presence can combine to synergistically move you forward, even in times where the spice level is up to 7, 8, or 9. I mean, we don't need to wait for this crisis to be over to move forward. This is a day that we're here. What micro step can you take today?
Yeah.
List out 3 to 5 micro steps. Pick the first one and commit by when you're going to do it, and go for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it sounds like homework, perfect. We're all at home, so might as well do homework.
Oh my gosh. I love it. And I love that it's like really get clear for everyone who's tuning in. Get clear on what are the 3 to 5 micro steps. What are the things that you feel would make the biggest difference? And maybe it's like just starting to look at your purpose more. Maybe it's getting more clarity on it, learning how to write it. What are the words for your purpose? You might want to start there. You might want to start with like what you said earlier, Jason, about your strengths, about maybe even your weaknesses. What have you been resisting or avoiding really looking at, and leveraging that as such a powerful part of your story and who you are and where you want to be going. And just those micro steps are so key, Jason. And for people to get clear on that and then set a deadline so that they can go achieve it, I think that's the biggest thing that we can keep moving forward on. And I have another way I like to see this is every day we're given 24 hours, right? And I think that some people wait until, a couple weeks, couple months, couple years till they're ready to really start taking action on their purpose. And it's like, in this day, how did we move the needle on our purpose? And you might take a day off, a Saturday, like no technology and not be working, a Sabbath day, whatever it might be. But most days, like 6 out of 7, 5 out of 7, like what did you do to move the needle? And if you have a job and you're working on a business on the side or a side hustle or building your entrepreneur endeavors, what did you do to move that today? What micro step did you take today? Did you invest 15 minutes working on something that moved the needle? If not, like every day is a barometer of, is this really important to me? Did I really take action on my purpose today? Because just like eating, just like a relationship with a loved one, ideally the things that are most important, going to the gym, brushing our teeth, bathing, right? These things that we do every single day are so important to us. So our purpose and the working on our purpose and investing time and energy into that should be just as important. And every single day we should be able to honestly look at that and say, yes, I took another step towards my purpose, towards living my purpose, towards expanding into my purpose, towards living the life of my dreams fulfilled by my purpose.
Yeah, well said.
Yeah. Jason, you're a champion, man. I know people want to know how to get in contact with you, how to connect with you, and especially if they want to bring you in as a speaker. How can they do that, man? Tell our audience how they can do that.
The easiest way to start it is through my website, which is jasonwfreeman.com.
Okay.
Will you please repeat that in your voice?
Absolutely. www.jasonwfreeman.com. jasonwfreeman.com.
Thanks so much, Chris.
Jason, thank you so much. I'm putting it in the comments right now. Just your courage, man. I really, your courage inspires me because just showing up and taking action to achieve your purpose. And I'm just grateful for people like you who are given a different set of cards, and you thrive with them. You thrive with the ingredients that you've been given. You thrive in creating your recipe and impacting and serving people and living your purpose, man. So I'm honored to know you and see you blossoming, seeing you speaking, and I'm just grateful for being able to get your message out right now when people may be more inside and staying at home. And it's like, now is the time to really step up, to step into our purpose, to be taking action instead of sitting on the couch and waiting for things to pass us by. Like, take those micro steps today, and you're doing that, man. You're living that and you're sharing that.
Thanks, Chris. You're an amazing interviewer.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. Have an amazing rest of your day. Okay, Jason?
You too. Thank you.